There's always that one couple every season. Fiery, unpredictable, full of drama. And this time, it's Huda and Jeremiah. At first, they seemed like opposites that might attract, but as their relationship unfolded, things got messier by the day. What started as playful flirting quickly turned into tears, explosive confrontations, and emotional shutdowns. But here's the thing. This isn't just drama for entertainment. It's a living, breathing case study in love psychology. What we're really watching is an anxious-avoidant dynamic playing out in real time under the intense pressure of the Love Island villa. If you've ever been in a relationship that made you feel addicted, anxious, or emotionally exhausted, then what's happening between Huda and Jeremiah is going to feel uncomfortably familiar. Let's break it down. The attachment blueprint. According to attachment theory, the way we bond in relationships as adults is heavily shaped by how we connected with caregivers as children. It's not about blame, it's about understanding. And most people fall into one of a few attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, or fearful avoidant. Huda shows signs of anxious attachment. She needs reassurance. She wants closeness. She feels every shift in energy and overanalyzes it. She craves emotional certainty and reacts strongly when she doesn't get it. Jeremiah, on the other hand, leans more avoidant or fearful avoidant. He enjoys intimacy at first, but when things get emotionally intense, he pulls away. He becomes quiet, emotionally unavailable, even cold. Not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't know how to manage the emotional weight being placed on him. These two styles together create one of the most common but emotionally exhausting patterns in relationships: the anxious-avoidant trap. How the cycle begins. At first, things are great. The chemistry is there. Dopamine, the brain's feel-good reward chemical, is surging. Huda's affection and energy feel exciting to Jeremiah. Jeremiah's cool, calm presence feels grounding to Huda. It works, until it doesn't. Once Huda starts feeling emotionally attached, she also starts feeling anxious. The fear of losing Jeremiah kicks in. She becomes hyper-aware of his mood, his tone, his body language. A missed hug or a slower reply triggers panic. That's when she starts to push for reassurance. She might ask pointed questions. She might cry, get angry, or mark him with a hickey to assert her place. Jeremiah, feeling the weight of that emotional intensity, does what many avoidant types do. He shuts down. He pulls away. He gets quieter. His walls go up, not because he doesn't feel something, but because it's too much, too fast. And the more overwhelmed he gets, the more distant he becomes. And this is where it spirals. Huda sees his distance and assumes the worst. He doesn't care he's playing her, she's being abandoned. She reacts. He withdraws further. Each person's fear confirms the other's worst belief. It's not just a breakup waiting to happen. It's a psychological tug-of-war, one that neither of them has the tools to win. The villa as an emotional pressure cooker. Now, layer all of this onto the Love Island environment. You're in a confined space. No phone, no family, no alone time. Every interaction is filmed. Every emotion is on display. And there's the looming fear that any misstep could get you dumped by your partner or by the public. It's a breeding ground for emotional dysregulation. For Huda, who already fears rejection, every bombshell, every shift in energy, and every public vote is a threat. Her nervous system is constantly in fight-or-flight mode. That's why she reacts the way she does, not because she's too much, but because she's triggered. For Jeremiah, the intensity of the villa makes him even more emotionally avoidant. He can't process his thoughts privately. He doesn't have room to breathe. So he detaches. He gives one-word answers. He emotionally checks out. The result? Their attachment styles go into overdrive. Huda clings harder. Jeremiah disappears faster. And the audience watches, unsure whether to root for them or brace for impact. It's not just them. It's us. What makes this dynamic so captivating is that it's not just Huda and Jeremiah. It's a mirror. Millions of people go through the same emotional roller coaster. feeling addicted to someone who won't commit, or overwhelmed by a partner who needs more than you can give. It's not about being toxic, it's about being unaware of the emotional patterns that are driving your behavior. You might not be on a reality show, but the cycle is the same. Anxious partners tend to chase, avoidants tend to flee, and both blame the other, thinking, "Why are you doing this to me?" When in reality, both are reacting to their own fears. The brain chemistry trap. Let's add another layer: the brain chemicals that make these dynamics feel even more intense. Dopamine rewards newness and unpredictability. That's why you can feel addicted to someone who gives you mixed signals. Oxytocin is released during touch and intimacy. It makes you feel bonded, even if that bond isn't healthy. Serotonin, the mood stabilizer, drops during early love. This drop creates obsession and intrusive thoughts, similar to what's seen in people with OCD. So if you've ever been unable to stop thinking about someone, even when they've hurt you, or felt irrational panic over something small, it's not just in your head, it's in your neurochemistry. And in the villa, that chemistry is turned all the way up. Every interaction is amplified. Every kiss, every rejection, every vote, it all impacts the body like a drug. Love becomes less about connection and more about withdrawal and reward. So, what can be done? The first step to changing this pattern is awareness. Recognize when you're in it. If you're always chasing someone who feels out of reach, ask yourself, is this connection real, or am I hooked on the high of emotional chaos? If you're someone who pulls away every time someone gets close, ask yourself, am I protecting my peace or avoiding the discomfort of vulnerability? Next, learn how to regulate your nervous system. For anxiously attached people, that might mean learning to pause before reacting. Breathe, journal, talk to a friend. For avoidants, it might mean staying present in uncomfortable moments rather than running. Communication is key. Not in the "let's talk for 3 hours" kind of way, but in honest, emotionally aware statements like, "When you pull away, I feel scared," or "When things get intense, I need space, but I'm not leaving." Healing this pattern doesn't happen in one conversation. It takes repetition, patience, and a willingness to be seen. Huda and Jeremiah, a mirror for us all. Here's the truth. Huda isn't crazy. Jeremiah isn't heartless. They're two people acting out the emotional scripts written long before they entered the villa. Scripts that many of us have followed in our own lives, whether we've realized it or not. They're not broken, they're triggered. And while it's messy and dramatic and sometimes hard to watch, it's also deeply human. Their connection may not survive the villa, but the lessons they reveal, those will outlive any recoupling. So the next time you find yourself feeling crazy for wanting someone or cold for pulling away, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this love or is it a reaction? Is this peace or is it emotional addiction? Am I choosing this person or chasing a pattern? Because when you start to understand your attachment style, when you see the chemicals for what they are, you begin to reclaim your power. And that's where real love begins. Not in the spark, not in the drama, but in the safety to show up as yourself and be loved anyway.